A pleasant day, everyone. I am Joshua Baton together with Mr. Lordney Bitonio, and we are the facilitator for today's discussion. So our topic is entitled Male and Female Conversation. So before anything else, let's have a icebreaker. As you observe on this slide, there are two different pictures that tells how men and women tells a story. So for you, tell me if you are agree or not, then why? And here are learning objectives. At the end of the discussion, you are expected to identify the reasons why male and female did not understand each other. Second is to classify the differences between male and female conversation and apply what you have learned in our discussion through our activity. So, before anything else, let's define first what is conversation. So for you, on your own opinion or insights about that, so what is conversation for you? Okay, that's correct. Thank you for that. So in vocabulary words, conversation is an oral exchange of sentiments, observations, opinions, or ideas. So how important is conversation? You have a point. So it is a central part of human life and one of the most prevalent uses of human language. It is our way to socialize with others, then it develops and sustains our relationship with them. So now I am going to pass the floor to Mr. Lordney Bitonio to discuss the male and female conversation.
Thank you, Mr. Joshua Dave Baton. And now, we are going to discuss the male and female conversation. So this may not be politically correct, but men and women are different. Very different when it comes to communication. And as a result, men and women do not understand each other because of some reasons. So now, we are going to discuss the 10 ways why men and women communicate differently. So now, I am going back the floor to Mr. Joshua D. Baton to discuss it more broadly.
So here are the ways men and women communicate differently. So the first one is males exercise dominance through use talk. So when it comes to conversations, males are very competitive. Their goal is to be heard and to be respected by anyone who are listening to his messages through use of talk. They try to monopolize the conversation by refusing to listen to the other person's perception. Men often dismiss the other person's point of view. You know that males have that kind of pride thing. That's why they're dominating the conversation. In addition, based on my interviews from one of my male friends, according to them, they tend to be powerful in conversation for the sake of their masculinity and to be called men. While on the other hand, females create and maintain close relationship through talk. So it means that they are listening to each other's opinion, exchanging ideas or thoughts to establish a good and strong relationship. I think this is the perfect explanation for that. Friends first or good relationship first before yourself. What I'm trying to say is that they're appreciating each other ideas or opinions and compliments in order to have a friendly environment for conversations. Girls are more appreciative than men. So second, men focus more on literal messages. Men focus on the literal meaning of any sentence in conversation, or in other words, males are more straightforward or direct to the point when it comes to conversations. While on the other hand, females tend to focus on meta messages and the bigger picture. Females express their thoughts differently the way they wanted us to understand them. In short, their conversation have so many twists and turns. Third is, men engage in report talk. They use talk to gather and dispel information. Males use report talk. For the majority of males, talking is mostly a way to keep their independence and negotiate in maintaining their standing in a hierarchical social structure. On the other hand, female engage in rapport talk. They use talk to establish connections and negotiate relationships. Women employ rapport talk, which is meant to show solidarity, show support, or show that they are listening to the discourse. So, the differences in male and female communication styles can ignite conflict due to the variations between male and female communication styles. Miscommunication, misunderstanding, and disagreements can result from the stereotypical communication habits of men and women, which unsurprisingly vary. So here are some examples of a situational report talk and report talk conversation. So, a female policy analyst Precious and her male supervisor Dave are having a conversation about Precious' job responsibilities. So Precious says, "This is killing me. The guys in finance keep changing their projection numbers, which is making my analysis a moving target. This is incredibly frustrating." Dave replies, "Maybe you should go talk to them about it." Precious, "Dave, I have already talked to them 4 times. Dave, "Well, maybe you could run the analysis for all of the projections they provide. Then you would be ready when they finally settle on a number." "That would be a lot of work. I am just frustrated and annoyed," Precious said. So Dave replies, "What can I do to help?" So Dave and Precious are conversing, but it's clear that they have distinct goals for the chat. In reality, they are attempting to conduct 2 distinct types of conversations. Dave is responding by starting a report talk chat when Precious wants to conduct a report talk session. This disparity in the conversational styles that men and women commonly participate in can cause miscommunication, friction, and conflict. Number 4 is, in same-sex groups, male stories often focus on action and conflict. So when it comes to same-sex group, when they have a different stories to tell, they tend to create topics that can bring conflicts. We all know that males are so aggressive when it comes to talking. As I've said earlier, they are dominant when it comes to conversations and they're not listening to each other's opinion or point of views. So on the other hand, in same-sex groups, women share stories featuring people and family. As what I have mentioned earlier, the females wants to establish relationships through talking. That's why when they're having a conversation in their different stories, they've listened each other's idea or they're exchanging thoughts. Based on my observations, some topic they've discussed is more on families, people, or life. So number 5, males discuss their own problems and downplay those of others in conversation. So in male conversations, males is known for discussing their problems to their same-sex friends. Through conversations, they can think possible solutions that can fix their problems because male is also known as fixer. They are more likely to fix others' problem or help them out. So on the other hand, females confirm the feelings of others when they are expressed in conversation. So they confirm first the feelings of others before they express or share their thoughts to them. To continue this discussion, let me pass the floor again to Mr. Lordney Bitonio.
Thank you, Mr. Joshua Dave Bataon. And now, to continue the discussion, the 6th way is that men are more comfortable when speaking in public, while women are more comfortable in private. So in terms of communication, men are more comfortable when it comes to talking in public places, while women are comfortable in private because they tend to talk in a crowded place. The 7th way is that men often keep thoughts to themselves because they are not considered worthy of attention, while women are used to share all their thoughts. This is one of the reasons why men don't share that much because they thought that they're not worthy of attention, or maybe they are just ashamed about themselves. But women are different. They tend to share not all but few of their thoughts to their friends. The 8th way is that men sit at angles to each other when speaking, while women sit close to and look directly at each other when speaking. So when men have their conversation, they tend to talk without eye contact and sit apart, while women tend to have their conversation close to each other and directly look in their eyes. The 9th way is that In conversation, men have the goal of being respected, while women have the goal of being liked. In every conversation, male always have the goal of being respected because we know that men don't share their thoughts that much. So sometimes if they do talk to each other, they expected to be respected. While women, on the other hand, have the goal of being liked. Every time they have a conversation, they expected that every time they talk, they want you to like them. So for the last one, in same-sex groups, males are more likely to interrupt, heckle, and insult each other, while females are more likely to acknowledge points made by the others. It's said that in a group of male conversation, they tend to interrupt or insult each other because majority of the men likes to insult or tease as their act of friendship, while women cannot stand such things. They prefer to be acknowledged instead of being insulted. So now, let's proceed to our activity for the application of your understanding. So for the set A, in your own style, discuss what was your ways when you are communicating with the same sex and opposite sex. So for the set B, create a scenario that shows report talk and rapport talk. So that's all for today. I hope you've learned something, and if you have any other questions or clarifications, don't hesitate to message us so that we can address your concerns. So that will be all. Goodbye and God bless us all.